Welcome, I'm Dr. Tom Warren and you're watching The Plant Doctor. What I want to show you today are Tetraploid Daylilies and talk about Tetraploid Daylily selection. So Tetraploid Daylilies, let's talk about that term for a minute. Most organisms are diploid, meaning two sets of chromosomes, di meaning two. Tetra, if you've ever played the game Tetris, if you're my age on Nintendo, you know that means four. These plants are some of the only organisms in the world that have four sets of chromosomes, and their gamete, the pollen grain from the male, the egg from the female, are diploid. So if you ever did Punnett squares in freshman biology in high school, where you had dad straight on the top, mom straight down the side, and you filled in the box, and you had, you know, dominant recessive for dad, dominant recessive for mom, or dominant recessive, whatever it was, and you worked it out to see what the progeny would be. Imagine doubling that down the father row and down the mother row. You get some amazing colors, you get some amazing textures, you get color combinations that you wouldn't get anywhere else. You also get a bigger flower in general. So let's go around and take a look at some of these. So all of these daylilies here you see behind me were selected by me from seed. I had a good friend, Corey Johnson, who owns Horseshoe Lane Daylily Farm. If you're in North Alabama, look him up, Horseshoe Lane Daylily Farm. It should pop up on Facebook if you search it. He gave me these seeds and I went through and grew them out and selected the ones that had good traits, and we got rid of the rest. So what are some good traits when looking at a tetraploid daylily? Because you're not going to find these daylilies anywhere else in the world except here in my yard. And if you get a hold of a tetraploid daylily and you start crossing and get your own seed, those daylilies will not grow anywhere else in the world except your yard. And people are willing to pay big money for one fan of your daylily if they have good characteristics. So what are some of the characteristics that we're looking for in a daylily? The first thing that we're looking for is the number of scapes on the plants. So it's this branch that holds up the flowers, and ideally you want like a dozen scapes per plant. And this one has several, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, there's 5 just right here on this side. There's 5 on that other side, 5 on, I mean, there's 15 or 20 scapes on this one daylily. The next thing we want to look for is the number of bud sets per scape. And there's several buds per scape on this particular daylily. There's some that's already spent. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 5 there that haven't been opened, and then 12, 13 that are going to open up probably today. So each one of these scapes has like a dozen buds on it. So you multiply 15 and then times 12. I mean, we're getting up in the, you know, between 150 and 200 there in terms of the number of flowers this one daylily is going to produce. Another key characteristic we're looking for when selecting a tetraploid daylily is going to be the size of the flower. In general, the larger the flower, the better. You can grow larger diameter flowers with a tetraploid as opposed to a diploid daylily. So this one here, this one's 6 to 7 inches across, and that's pretty characteristic of a tetraploid. I've seen some get 8 or 9 inches, which is really unusual, but I have seen that happen. Another characteristic of the flower petal we're looking for is the edges of the flower. Some people prefer a smooth edge, some people want ruffled edges, or on this flower, this one's unique. Every other petal is ruffled or smooth. It goes ruffled, smooth, which I haven't seen in any other of my daylilies at all. So this one's kind of unique in that regard. The next thing we look at is flower color. And this is almost personal preference. This one is a striking yellow, but you get all sorts of color combinations with tetraploid daylilies. I've seen some that are almost black. They're a dark navy color. You get yellows, you get reds, you get oranges, and all those colors in between. Pinks, and there's some pinks in there. And then sometimes you'll get multicolored flowers as well. So that's another characteristic of tetraploids that people are looking for. Some of the tetraploids are going to have almost an iridescence to them. They shimmer and shine in the sunlight. It's almost like somebody took clear coat and painted it on to the petals themselves. They shimmer, which is really unique. Another characteristic we look at is plant height. In general, these are going to get taller than traditional daylilies. So if you think of something like a Stella de Oro or a Happy Returns or something like that, they get like 2 feet tall. A lot of these tetraploids, they're going to get 3, 4 feet tall. I've never seen one get like 5 feet tall, but that doesn't mean that that cannot happen. So if you're going to breed daylilies, it's important to know the structures of the flower and also mark what you're crossbreeding with. We're going to self-breed this one. We're going to breed it back into itself. But if you were to, for example, take the male part of this one and cross it with the female part of another one, take a piece of paper, put it in a Ziploc bag and write the cross of whatever it is. You can say yellow crossed with orange, and then underneath the flower right here, take you a twist tie and just twist it on there. Put that paper in a Ziploc bag, attach it to the scape so that you keep track of what seed is what cross. But let's talk about how to fertilize your daylily. Technically, this is pollination. Pollination is the transfer of pollen from stamen to pistil. And so what I just pulled off here is the male part. So all of these up here are male. So the top, this is called the anther. What holds it up is the filament. Together, those are stamen. Right here, this one that sticks out the furthest, this is female. So the top is called stigma. This tube's called style. That attaches to the ovary at the base. So what we're going to do is we're taking the stamen. This is called pollination, not fertilization. There's a difference. We're going to rub that pollen on that stigma and see how it's sticking right there. I hope that shows up on camera. That has been pollinated. Fertilization is when the pollen grain meets up with the egg down in the ovary. It's 2 different processes. So we have pollinated this flower. Hopefully we'll get fertilization to occur and get seeds out of this. But that is how you pollinate your daylilies. So in general, daylilies are a plant that once established, we can kind of forget about. Even in drought conditions, they're going to do fine. I hope you learned something today about tetraploid daylilies. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor. And until next time, happy gardening.